Hello everyone, Zane Zeiter here, double Z33, and we are back with some more content. Today we're going to be doing a discography rank, and the band today is Boston, the rock band from Boston, Massachusetts, and they are pretty much fronted by their guitar player, who's been on all their albums, Tom Scholz. He is a perfectionist, and thus they have only released 6 albums in their career. First album came out in 1976, and then their most recent one came out in 2014. So in that, 38 years there, they've only released those 6 albums. So that shows his perfectionism. But the good thing about that is all 6 of the albums are flawlessly produced. They're just top-notch recordings that you can't really find any problems with at all. So even the 90s album Walk On is a short album. All the albums in their catalog are short. They're all within 30 minutes. So even back in the 90s when a lot of bands were making longer albums to justify paying more for CDs, they bucked that trend and they stayed within the 30-minute time span, like a lot of the classic albums from the 70s and early 80s, and they stayed within that 30-minute time range. So I believe that's everything that I want to cover for some background on the albums there. So we'll get right to it here, and I'll break down my favorite albums here. I'm going to go from least favorite to favorite, and then I'll do a recap for you. So we'll start out here with the least favorite, and this album here is one that probably everyone's least favorite, their most recent one from 2014, Life, Love, and Hope. And that one there, only real songs that I care for on that one are going to be The Way You Look Tonight and You Gave Up on Love 2.0. So 2.0 is listed on a couple different tracks on that album, that being one of them. And that is because they re-recorded those 2 songs. You Gave Up on Love, they mentioned. And also, I believe, Didn't Mean to Fall in Love, maybe someone. There was 2 or 3 that they did on that one that they re-recorded. But I really love the You Gave Up on Love. That's one of my favorite Boston songs. I love how they incorporated the female vocals on that one, and they sound beautiful, and it's definitely an improvement over the original. So Someone is the other one that they redid, and I didn't really find too much of a difference on that one, so I prefer the original one on Corporate America. And then I guess Didn't Mean to Fall in Love was just remastered. It wasn't re-recorded on Life, Love, and Hope. So next up, we have next favorite album in the discography. We have, this might be a surprise to a lot of you, but their second album from 1976, Don't Look Back. And I'm not going to show you that one. It doesn't look too good on my camera here. It doesn't show up too good on my phone. So that one, some of the standout tracks on there for me were the title track, Don't Look Back, some of the best guitar that Scholz does. And of course, he's an underrated guitarist. He's a very good player, very talented player, and some great licks on all of those Boston albums. And I remember hearing a fact a long time ago that he just began playing guitar not very long before they recorded their first album, their Boston debut album. So really remarkable. Just pretty much his talent must have been in his DNA, because he obviously didn't practice too long before he became one of the greats. So next up, we have Third Stage, which that's probably my favorite Boston album cover, Third Stage. I can't show it either. It doesn't show up well on my phone. It has the spaceship like all the albums have, and then it's flying over the a light blue planet. So it looks really cool, really well done with the artwork there. And lots of good tracks on that album. You've got a couple female named tracks. You got Amanda and Holly Ann, and Amanda, of course, was a huge hit for them. And Can't You Say, I Still Love You, that's another great song. That's probably my favorite one on that album. Next up we have, and that one came out in 1986 for you. So 8 years between that one and Don't Look Back. And then we went another 8 years for the next album on my list here. It doesn't show up well either. So that's Walk On by Boston. And we were introduced to Fran Cosmo on that album. He filled in for Brad Delp. So Brad Delp, one of the greatest vocalists of all time, getting replaced by Cosmo. And hey, Cosmo had the right name for the band with all of Boston's space imagery on their albums. And he did a really good job. I mean, when you're finding replacement singers, I think he did extremely well. He's not as good of a singer as Delp, but I think he does very well. And he's definitely a suitable replacement. And Delp would rejoin the band shortly after for the tour of the album Walk On. And the tracks on the album that I like are Magdalene, What's Your Name, and my favorite all-time Boston track, actually. And it was a hit for them. Not one of their biggest hits, not one of their most memorable hits, not one that really is mentioned too much today in circles, but I Need Your Love. What an incredible song that is. So definitely check that one out if you're not familiar with it. That's why Walk On basically ranks so high on the list for me. I mean, the guitar work on that is good. There's some really heavy guitars and some good lyrics. Not extremely clever, in parts so-so, but the chorus, not really so much. It's I need you every way. Doesn't really make too much sense, but definitely Cosmo's best vocal performance in my opinion. And that chorus is so catchy, and it's a really good chorus. One of my all-time favorite songs, actually. He just really showcases his voice there, specifically in the chorus, so check that one out. Next up, we have one that does show up well enough on my phone to show. Corporate America, 2003. So probably surprised that that's ranking that high. A lot of people didn't care for that album. That one, Life, Love, and Hope, a lot of people say the multi-layered overproduction is a problem, and it's not real Boston because there's Cosmo on vocals, just a lot of different styles and not really a classic rock sound. So a lot of people don't like that one, but I love that album. It's got so many great tracks on it that I enjoy and I go back to a lot. So it's got I Had a Good Time, Stare Out Your Window, the title track Corporate America where they get political, and Someone. So as well as Didn't Mean to Fall in Love. I forgot about that one almost, so that's another good one. And then finally, probably everyone's favorite Boston album, where we got introduced to the guys. We got their first album, the self-titled, 1976. And from top to bottom, just a great album. I'd say probably perhaps the greatest debut album of any band, and a lot of people would probably agree. Just amazing how many great songs they had on that debut. Ranks up there with other great debut albums like Van Halen's debut and others like that. So you've got all these great songs. These are my favorite ones, the standouts on that album for me. Foreplay Long Time, Let Me Take You Home Tonight, the classic and their biggest hit, More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, and my favorite song on that album is Something About You. So we'll go back through all the albums here. That was my favorite one, Boston, the debut. So Boston, the debut is my favorite. Next up, second, we got Corporate America. Third, we have Walk On. Fourth, Third Stage. Fifth, Don't Look Back. And sixth, we have Life, Love, and Hope. Perhaps their final album. So, that does it for today. We appreciate you watching today, and if you like my content, please subscribe, ring my bell, follow me on Facebook and donate to my Patreon. Links will be below. Comment your thoughts here and on Facebook. I'd love to discuss everything with you and hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. So long, everybody.